What is up, guys? You are Trippin with Jay. Welcome to the YouTube channel. And we have a very, very special guest today. And I want you guys to go ahead and like the video on your way into the live stream. We're going to bring her up in a few seconds. But I do want to just introduce myself. My name is Jay. The YouTube channel is called Trippin with Jay. And we mainly do travel vlogs, IRL streams, and we do interviews just like today with one of our fine, esteemed guests. So let me just do a quick introduction of our guest today. If you guys do not already know who she is, she's not only a connector, she's a speaker, a real estate executive, event producer, featured in Essence Magazine and Playa Magazine for June of 2025, and owner of High Vibes Global. We have Cece Cleveland. What's going on, Cece? How are you?
What's going on? What's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty
How are you,
well.
Jay?
Doing pretty well. Can't complain.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
What's up,
So,
everybody?
what's good? What's good? Yeah. So, people, if you guys have questions, the chats are open. I'll read them out to Cece so she can answer those questions for you as we go through the interview. It's not going to be like a super structured interview. It's just going to be just us having a conversation and just us hanging out and kicking it because we saw each other the last time I was in Playa, but we really didn't get enough time to kind of like reconnect and kind of
Yeah.
chat for a bit. So this is the opportunity for us to do so. But if the chat has some additional questions for us, go ahead and chat that in, guys, because we got someone that's very, very special here, especially for the actual community in Playa del Carmen. So, Cece, introduce yourself to the people. I know I gave you a little bit of a nice introduction there, but I want you to do the
Yes.
introduction of yourself.
What's up, everyone? My name is Shakana Cleveland. I go by AKA Cece, the plug, Cece. And I am Cece from Washington, D.C. I say Cece from D.C. Uh, born and raised Washington, D.C. And right now I am here living in Playa. I've been out here in Playa since 2020, and fell in love with it. And now I own a business out here called High Vibes Global, which we will discuss soon with Jay. But I am here and I am a community builder. I'm a connector. I am uh, a businesswoman. And I also like to see others prosperous, right? So I also I'm here. I'm community. I'm really big on community and also networking with our own to build as well as the local community to build. So
That's good.
yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, she is a very, very special guest here. She's literally one of the first people that when the first time that I went to Playa del Carmen, she was one of the first people I connected with. And I believe our first conversation was about real estate. And
Yes, it was about real
it
estate. Yes.
was. And the people know
Yes.
that I'm an agent out here here in Las Vegas. And as soon as you said real estate, I'm like, that's my girl. That's the homie forever now.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
what made
So
you? Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
yeah, I work along with a real estate company called Real Estate Playa. Yes,
Okay.
in Playa del Carmen.
Okay,
So
that's awesome.
we handle all of the Riviera Maya. So Tulum, Cancun, Bacalar.
Wow.
Um, yes.
So people can like DM you through IG, and if they need to find a place out there.
Yes,
Okay.
they can.
Yeah.
But we do commercial and residential only, not rental.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. So just purchases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Purchases.
And guys, I have CC's IG links below in the description box. So if you guys want to hit her up, DM her. If you guys want to purchase out there,
Yes.
for sure, hit her up. She is the person to go
Yes.
to. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I always ask this to everybody that I speak to. So why did you choose Playa del Carmen and not anywhere else in Mexico or like any other place abroad? Like why Playa?
Um, Actually, let me tell you something. I had no desire to come to Mexico, really. I've been to other parts of Mexico, but I've never been to Cancun before,
Oh.
and I never had that desire, only because I was always that person that, if everybody say, oh, we're going here, I was that person to not go there. I'll go somewhere else. So I really didn't have that desire. Actually, my homegirl, my friend from New York and DC, they told me about Playa. They called me and during COVID, and they said, Cece, you need to come out here. They said, we just moved here a week ago. And my homegirl, she moved her mom, her dad, her whole family
Wow.
to Playa. And she said, Cece, you're gonna love it. She said, I see some community, like some families coming in. And she said this would be a perfect place to do. She's just to start your events. She's like, you could start events, you could do this, you could bring your production. That's what I do, production. She was like, you could bring your productions to Mexico and just start something brand new. And with me, I'm like, whoa, that's a lot to Mexico. So I'm not really thinking. I'm like getting excited because it's something just new that she's bringing up.
Right.
I told myself 10 years before that I wanted to move by the water. By an island. And so in 2020, the beginning of 2020, I was actually in Bahamas, and that's where my family's from. My grandma, and I got cousins and aunts. They're from Nassau, Bahamas.
Wow.
So I went there, and I thought that was going. I was like, maybe this is the place. But then I'm like, it's a bit expensive. I got to figure out, when you're in a land full of black people, it's just like, okay, what I'm gonna do. There's a band out there. I was like, maybe I can get manage this band, get them shows,
Yeah.
and start something with the band. And so I ended up coming back to DC, and I work in the production industry, so I do production management, production supervising, and a couple of my clients are like MGM and a lot of the convention centers. And so when they shut down, that was just a rude awakening of, okay, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, and out of the whole, I've been in the industry for over 25 years, 20 years. So it's hard from working. I'm that person that really didn't have a lot of days. I didn't have a lot of days off. I work events from conference to live shows. So stopping exactly and doing absolutely staying at home,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
that alone was like the biggest one. That was the real, I couldn't even fathom it in my brain. And a lot of people in the industry, I'm pretty much not, it's not many few of us,
Right.
it's so a lot of people in our industry were committing suicide.
Oh.
um just things were happening, and it was just a lot going on. And so for me, I said, okay, I don't want to fall into depression or any of that. I just have to, I have to go somewhere. I was still doing like pre-recordings with artists, things
Okay.
of that with no audience, but it was still, and the pressure of, oh, come work with us, you got to take the vaccine. And I was just against it. So, I just, took off, and I said, what can I do? And during that time, I was talking to my homegirl that moved to Mexico. And during that time, I literally had a dream. And my dream was about, and I actually went on a whole vegan, diet
Wow.
because I needed to clear my mind. I need clear vision of what I wanted. Like, what did I want? What do I want to do now? Because from here, it's the world is not going to be the same.
Oh yeah.
Jobs are not going to be the same. So I need clear direction and guidance on what I need to do to move forward and to elevate my life. So I literally, I'm a dreamer. I had a dream, and I was very big on vibrations, and even how it connects to sound, lighting, like everything. Like that's my thing. So I had a dream, and in that dream, high vibes came up in that dream. I
Whoa.
wrote, I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I put high vibes, and then I'm like, okay, events. Da 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 da. I literally start buying stuff. I created a logo for High Vibes.
Whoa.
I bought like different um, I bought some lighting, I bought some equipment, and just I bought like a whole step and repeat. I didn't even know what for. I did not know what for. And I'm just buying stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I bought some silent headphones, you know. Um, and so when she said that, I was like, okay, maybe I can, I was like, okay, I could do some things. She said, watch. She said, come to Mexico. Just come to see if you like it. Come to see if you like it. And, we'll go from there.
Whoa.
I literally caught a flight there, I would say like 2 weeks. I don't think they knew how fast. I literally caught a flight there 2 weeks. And, and no, and I caught a flight there in 2 weeks, and she showed me around. I went on every excursion, everything. She showed me around, and one night we went to we went on this street, which is the most popular street in Playa del Carmen. It's on Calle 38,
Okay.
and that's my favorite street. It's like jungle is, so we went on that street at night, and we literally went on the beach, stared at the stars for like literally until like what 1 or 2 that morning.
Whoa.
We sat there on the beach, and I could not even. I was looking at the sky and the stars, and they were like changing colors and I'm like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
And that moment, I said, "This is home," and she said, "This is home." And we just looked at each other, and she's like, yes, we're just getting excited, and she's like, this is home, this is home. So it's just like, okay, now what's next,
Right.
she's a businesswoman as well. Janelle, she's a businesswoman, and so she really inspired me to be out here. She had started the first business of in Playa. She started a franchise burger company called Supreme Burger.
Oh. Okay. Wait.
Yes, and
Where's?
it used to be a burger spot here. It's no longer here,
Oh
but
man.
she has started a burger spot. And so she literally inspired and put that nudge in me that I can start my own in another country,
Yes.
international,
Yes.
you know? And like for that, I am forever grateful, and so from there, it was another brother as well that I met in 2020,
Hmm.
Mike, and he started a lot of the different events, different some events there, um, and he was just like, "Yo, come on, Cece, you need to get something, you need to start." Da, 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 da. I said, I was like, okay, okay, let me see, So I said, look, I still got to work a few shows
Hmm.
back in DC because I was still, I'm very high in demand, right? So I said, I got to work a couple of shows in DC, then I'm coming back.
Okay.
And I said, when I come back, I'm bringing my equipment, I'm bringing everything.
All right. Okay.
Yes. So then when I came back and I'm at the airport
Hmm.
and I bump into this guy. Well, actually, the security people pulled me over because I had all these bags. So they want to see what equipment. But they pulled a black guy in front of me over first, and they thought I was with him. So they like, both of y'all over. And I'm like, who is this black guy? I got pulled over because of him. So then it was I said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Bradley." He got this real Bradley. He has a real country voice. I said, "Where you from?" He said, "I'm from Atlanta." I was like, "What you do?" He said, "I'm a DJ." I said, "You a DJ?" Yo, bet that off the break. We both got charged for our equipment, which is something that normally happens. You know, you know, when tourists come in or when anybody come through, they check your bags, and
Right.
sometimes you have to pay, and sometimes you don't. But I met him, and he's just like, and I talked to him. I was like, "Yo, let's start some events. We could do some stuff out here." He said, "Hey, I'm with it. Whatever." You know what I'm saying? He said, "I'm with it." So I ended up sticking with him. Actually, no. He said, "You need a ride back to Playa? I got a rental car." I said, "No, I'm gonna just catch the ADO bus because I already got my ticket." He said, "All right, cool." Went on the ADO bus, met some girls on the ADO bus, pretty much convinced them to live out here in Playa. They were coming to visit from Canada, convinced them. So I'm meeting people from all over. I'm meeting different people. So after I'm meeting different people, then I told every single one individually. I said, "Hey, can y'all meet me at Reef 28?" I said, "Everybody meet
Oh.
me at Reef 28." And so everybody came to Reef 28, and that's how everybody met each other. And so everybody was
Yeah.
vibing. Everybody was vibing. And then I said, all right, let me create it like a group chat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Let me create a group chat. And then we ended up calling ourselves the Vibras or something like that.
That's dope. That's so dope.
So yeah, that's pretty much like the beginning of how it started. And then I met Wesso, which is he's a Mexican out here. He
Mhm.
lived out here for a while, and I met him through Bradley. And literally that night, he took us to all the local spots, to the local fair, to all the places, to all the to party spots where they party, where all the events and different things in Playa was going.
Yeah.
And from there, I realized I'm like, okay, we don't have our culture don't have a real niche. You know what I'm saying?
That's
In
true.
here.
That is true.
It's just like we don't have something consistently, you know what I'm saying? We did have a community event every Wednesday called Juke Joint, and that was at that point that was amazing. And my friend Celine, hey, it's all Celine, and he literally brought the people together to create that juke joint, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like a real community event. um so it was that going on. But High Vibes, at first, when we first started, we started as a after hours, yes,
Oh.
because so everybody was looking for things to do after an event,
Yeah.
after a party. And so we first started out, I would say, at Prana Lounge. If y'all know about Prana Lounge, now it has hip hop and uh, it has hip hop and Afro beats, but in the beginning they did not. So Bradley actually started playing there and offered. He said, "See, if I do this for free," literally they weren't really paying him, and he was like, "And then
Wow.
you could bring in the people, and we can work it like that just to build an audience." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said, "All right, bet I could get the people." And he's playing. So we started bringing in, us there. And then afterwards, everybody's like, "Where are we going next?" Well, next was at my house on the rooftop. That's where the next place were. So
Yeah.
everybody would come on my rooftop to my house and literally vibe all night. They didn't go to sleep. They stayed there sometimes till 6 in the morning. I went to sleep.
Yo, that's crazy.
But they literally vibed. And then I eventually, told them that I said, look, we got to find a space because one, it's still COVID, it's still fresh, and I could get kicked out of my apartment building because we're not supposed to really be having parties. You know,
That's a good point. That's a,
I just set up my lights. I just set up my lights and we had Bradley DJing, but really we're not supposed to be there. So, yes. And I said, I don't know half of these people on my rooftop. Like,
yeah.
it was just like everybody was following. Everybody was just following us. Like, to like, where we going?
Yeah.
And so I said, I don't know half of these people. So I said, we got to find a place. So eventually, oh, oddly, oddly has the line dance going on. Oddly lived in a house. He's from DC as well.
Yeah.
He's my brother's friend,
Okay.
and so he came out here, from me and my brothers, like really talking about Playa, and he came out here. He eventually moved, and he was living in a hostel, and he says he was like, Shakana, like he calls me. There's certain people, they call me by my name.
By your government,
So he
yeah.
was like, look, he said, look, there's a, he said, I'm staying in this hostel. All they play is techno. He was just like, and he was like, but it's a vibe. He was like, the rooftop, he said, I think you could change it, you could build it, and it will be a vibe for, you guys to come up there.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, well, I said, let me talk to the owner. Let's set a meeting with the owner, and I'll set something up so we can start. He said, okay. I said, all right. I said, I got to work another show. And I was like, I got to work another show, and then I got to fly back. So I ended up going, working the show. And then I came back, and they had an appointment with me, dropped my bags, and went straight to the owner.
Wow.
And yes, and we had Jabari. He spoke Spanish, so Jabari helped with the translation. And the owner was basically asking us. He said, "Okay." I was telling him, just about. He was like, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I would love to have events and bring our culture in to implement with the culture here." And just to see everybody, and I said we play Afro beats, hip hop, you know, all of that, dance hall,
Yeah.
and I just want to see different cultures mix in, and this is a different type of music that we really don't have in Playa. And I said this would be the perfect place. And he said okay. He was like, well, when do you guys want to start? I said we could start as soon as possible. Just give me a date. Let me know. He said, okay, tomorrow night.
Yo.
I said,
Yo. The next day.
head, in my head, I'm like, tomorrow. He said, all right, let's start tomorrow. The guys are looking at me like, tomorrow, we could. I said, all right, tomorrow, bet we're gonna do it. That's all I said. I was like, all right, tomorrow, we got it. Let's go. So then, Javari and them, they're like, are you sure we could do this tomorrow? I said, hey, let's go. Who know how to make flyers? I don't know how to make flyers. I don't and then that's when Bradley, he said, I know how to make flyers. He said, I know how to do a little something from Canva. So I said, look, let's get this down. We do a little from Canva. He was like, dang, what we gonna call ourselves? I said, well, I said I have a company, High Vibes. He was like, bet,
Yes.
High Vibes,
Yes.
that's the joint. I said, yes. I said, let's implement that since I already have the brand. And I said, I have everything we need. And we actually called ourselves the After Hours because we started at 12 midnight and went to 5 in the morning.
Okay. Okay.
Those were the first, yes. But and the thing is, it was different because it was, from COVID, everybody was up, like nobody was at work, like or Yeah, so that's how we started building, from there. And my brother actually came to my first event, and he was astonished. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe, how did you get these people? Where did you meet these people? You just got here. Where did you meet these people?" And they're like, how did he couldn't even understand. But I said, when I tell you, we got some flyers made, and we walked the whole strip up, the strip of Fifth Avenue,
Whoa.
talking to people, like, literally. Yes, we were heavy, heavy, heavy at that time. We were very heavy with street, like, promoting on the streets. Yep.
So you had like a whole
And then
team.
yes. Well, it was just me, Bradley, and Jabari. And so we also um, built relationships with different restaurants that was on Fifth Avenue, all the workers, the managers. So they were excited to even pass out the flyers for us as well. So,
Wow.
or pass out flyers within their venue. So I did a lot of, like, networking and stuff. I'm good with networking, and I'm good with clients, and just from my background,
Yeah.
and so I pretty much build high vibes. I'm not a party person, but I'm a production person. So I build high vibes off of what I know of my production skills, of my production part. The party aspect, I honestly, I don't, but I know how to bring people together, and I know that what we need, and I know how to bring an experience together and what an experience look like,
Yeah.
because when I go to an event, I want to experience. I don't just want, a party, but I want to experience and I want to connect. So that's pretty much High Vibes is really on a connection of different people from around the world, and an experience,
Yeah.
experience, and also setting the I always like to set the vibes. High Vibe is, um, I feel like a High Vibes party is not just like a regular party.
It's not. It's not.
Is
It's honestly like every event I've been to, it's just been I met brand new people for the first time they've ever been
Yes,
to Playa, or I've met people that have been there for years, decades and stuff.
yes,
And it's just been like a
yes,
networking event too, along
yes,
with it
yes,
was like the party was like a side effect of the networking event. And I'm like,
exactly, exactly.
now I'm hooked on going to all of these events. Now I'm about to be
Yes,
tapped in, going to the IG, making sure I attend every single event that y'all have when I'm
yes,
in town. So yeah,
yeah.
it's
Because
more
you
than that.
never know. There's people you never know, like, who you will bump into, who you will meet,
Right.
and then it for me to see different people connecting, and things like different events that even comes out of High Vibes, or the connections that are made. Like, I love that. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. Sometimes I just sit down at an event, like even last night. Sometimes I just sit down at an event and I just enjoy looking at people connecting with each other,
Yeah.
and even connecting through dance, because that's a vibration, and a lot of times I feel that society is based on a vibration of negativity, and
Mhm.
they bring each other together through negativity, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like what we do is try to build it, a high vibration, to where everybody comes together and is off of good. So we're dancing with each other, we're learning. It's not just black people, but you have Latin, you have Mexicans,
It's a mix.
and you're learning different dances, from, or Africans, or we're learning each other's dances, we're learning each other's. It's very like a love type of
It
event,
is.
you
It
know what I'm
really is.
saying?
Yeah.
It's like on that high vibrations of love and hugs, and, oh, and who are you? Who are you? Oh, okay. And how we just come together as one.
Yeah.
So, and realizing like even like the Mexicans, my Mexican brothers and sisters, they call each other melanated as well. So realizing that black melanated people as a whole are from different parts of everywhere parts of the world. You know,
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
all over the world. And I've just learned so much. Just I learned so much just from being here,
Yeah.
and also how to uh, I learned also what I need to do as far as my mission and my vision when as I elevate high vibes on also as I'm elevating, also what are the needs, you know? Like what are the
Mm.
needs and how can I help and provide those needs with the company that I bring into another country
Yeah.
or have
Yeah.
in another country. Yeah, it's not about I don't I take myself out of it and kind of look into, you know,
Yeah.
everybody and say, oh, okay, like right now, I'm just like, tourists, okay, we have tourists, the tourists coming, come on, come through High Vibes, highvibesglobal.com, come through High Vibes. And the thing is, with that is, we are High Vibes, my team. It's crazy because there's no Americans on my team.
Are you serious?
It's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my team is literally Mexicans, and but I have like Mexicans that lived in America, Chicago, and you know went to
Oh.
school out there, you know, and so they know that, you know, American balance. And then I have Haitian Canadian, um, and so I love it working with them just because it gives me a different outlook,
Yeah.
you know, but at the same time it's just like I know how American is structured, you know, and we we do things differently, you know, and it's so good to just learn. Like I've been learning so much, and when I hire Mexicans, I'm learning the land. Like I'm learning how to do things legally, how to do things correctly,
Yeah.
what we can do, what we can't do, you know, and how to provide jobs to the people here
Yeah.
as well.
Because
And then as
Mexico's
we grow, I can, yes, yes. And as we grow, I'm able to provide jobs not only for the locals, but also for the expats, the community
yeah.
as a whole, you know.
Yeah, and we know like
So
Mexico is like pretty quirky when it comes to like laws sometimes, and things work completely different down there than it does to the
yes,
U.S.
it's
So,
hard.
yeah,
And people don't like if people understand like for me in even getting the venues and the spaces and developing these networks with the owners and hotels, and it is not easy
yeah, yeah, it's not.
because one, Playa del Carmen, the business is not, they don't understand business. They
It's
don't understand business, and then sometimes it's also a customer service, like the needs, right? So, what even with some of them, they also ask me, they say, Cece, we honestly don't know. We're learning from you.
oh, so like you're, so in a sense that
So it
your event
makes,
is just like the first event that where they have to take care of like an American audience, primarily.
yeah, so yes, because Playa is honestly still new,
Okay.
right? Playa is still new, and a lot of these spaces never had uh, events like, you know, to where they really had to cater to people.
Yeah.
A lot of the events there are basically like if they're like techno and stuff, it's all like beer and, you know,
Yeah.
with us we have to cater VIP specials and, you know, do certain things, you know, special treatments, and they honestly sometimes they don't understand that.
It's
They don't
interesting.
understand that.
Yeah.
But is still training them to say, okay, this is what you need, this is what you need in order for us to do this or make this amount, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a teaching. Every day is a learning aspect. every day, every day.
Yeah. So what can you actually tell people that want to aspire to open a business down in Playa or in Mexico as a whole? Like what advice can you give them to help kind of spur that idea in their head and kind of grow it into an actual business?
One, I would tell you to build a relationship with the local community, um, because it's very important to build a relationship with the locals, because this is a land to where they have to welcome you in.
Yeah.
And if
Hmm.
if they don't welcome you in, you're gonna get kicked out really quick. You're gonna, or yes, you're gonna get kicked out. It's always good to be kind, and I grew up, I'm really big on family. Family is my dad, my family always number one, family
Right.
first,
Right.
and that's my mental. And that's also what that's also how the Mexicans live. They are very, very, very family oriented. It's one of the venues that I used to have, my very first venue. One time he said in the meeting, he said, I'm gonna let you know, Cece, whatever happens with us, just know that family is first. We are family. We are family, and then business is. And I'm like, and that literally, like, wow. I literally had the grandma food, the auntie food, sat there. I might have not known a lick of Spanish, but guess what? Cece here. Hey, I'm hugging on everybody.
Yeah.
I'm vibing. I'm doing karaoke with them. Like, even when I don't understand the language, I'm still in. Like,
It's the actions.
and now, yes, it's the actions, and love is action. And everything that we do, is action. And so when we don't look as friendly to or approachable to talk to, or they're trying to figure out, why is she mad? Is she mad? It just comes off a little harsh for them. So
Yeah.
they literally don't understand. And the thing is, I also learned that we are also very passionate speakers. When we speak with authority, and we're very passionate about. So sometimes that can come off wrong. So I noticed that, that and I have to, that's one thing that I've even had to watch. In the beginning, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
was in production mode, and like they would come and bring stuff up 3 hours late, and I'm like, no, this is supposed to start now. I'm stressing myself out. Why aren't people on time? Why isn't everybody on time? They're like, Cece, calm down. It's
That's
okay.
the culture.
It's okay.
That's the
And I'm
culture.
like, no, it's not okay. I'm going crazy. The amount of times I went off in the beginning, it was just, but they still love me through that. And they said, Cece, it's watch. It's going to be good. It's going to be. And they pushed me. Like, they really, like, helped me and pushed me to. And so, so I think that building that relationship with the Mexicans, with the Mexican community is so important. That
Hmm.
should be the very first thing you do. Even when coming to live, even living here, you should build some type of community, because at the end of the day, if something literally happens, you need someone of the land to let what's going on,
Yes.
like the laws, the
You need
laws,
somebody watching out
someone
for you.
to be right there, to drive there, but like, hold up, let me get there for
Yep.
Cece. Let me get there, to make sure she's good. And because the thing is, a lot of the times where they still look at us as, they might look at us as still as tourists, or as people that doesn't you like. I mean, we're not from the land,
That's true. Yeah.
so so it's just different. They even look at Mexicans that are from America different.
Oh yeah, because even their Spanish is different from
Yes, even
America.
the
It,
Spanish is
it doesn't
different,
have
right?
that
So
accent.
if
So
they look at them different, imagine how they looking at us
yeah.
sometimes, you know. And so this is why it's always good to build. relationship. You could get so much for cheap if you build relationship.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
let me tell you something. Taxis, when it comes to taxis or anything, taxis, I'm giving them juices, snacks, or so anytime they see me on the street, they're gonna beat their horn. You need a ride, and they might take me for free. Like we're like, Cece, come on, hop in the car, I'll take you. But it's just because I build relationships with every single one, like that I meet and also I don't just keep them in, but I also give them their services to other people,
Yeah.
and I make sure they can eat,
Mm.
and so that's been like literally my main focus out here, is also making sure that, you know, you have a lot of different local owners and that are really struggling and dealing with some harsh, family issues or dealing with some issues that nobody knows about, and they just sit and I say, "Are you okay?" And sometimes the owners are like, "No, I'm not okay." And so I said, "All right, let me have an
Mm.
event here. I'm gonna have another event. So I can know that some money is coming through,
Yeah.
So it's like those types of things that, literally, that I do out here in Playa.
No, that's amazing, man. That's really
Yeah.
amazing. Let me get on some chats really quickly while I play the
Okay.
slideshow. So, guys,
Okay.
we're playing the slideshow right in the middle of our chat or our chat here, and you guys can see that the feature that she was in the Playa magazine for June 2025, and we have
Oh,
a
yes.
QR code that you guys can go ahead and follow all of the High Vibes events as well. And we got a couple
Yes.
of chats here from Freddie1417. They said that
Oh, that's my mama.
oh, that's your
Hi,
mom.
mom.
That's your mom. That's awesome. That is
My
awesome.
mom
That is awesome. Yep, it says that that's your dad and mom. Okay,
and my
okay.
dad, my mom, my dad and my mom. Hi, I love you guys.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
They definitely did a
Yeah.
great job raising such a wonderful person to interact with and not only do business with, but just hang around with. You're very, very you inspire people even though you don't even know you inspire people, and that's the greatest part.
Uh,
As the greatest part, for
thank
real, for
you.
real. I don't know if you have a hard stop at in the next.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
It's up to you. Yeah.
yeah, I want to know, since you've been in Playa since 2020, right?
Uh huh.
How can you compare like the lifestyle that you have in Playa compared to what you had in DC? Like how do those two lives differ?
Totally. Everything's different. Like I can't even compare. My lifestyle in DC, it's totally different.
Yeah,
Okay. So my lifestyle in DC is production. And so production management. So it was pretty much work, 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 work. But the thing is, I developed I would say, family through through the workers, through the production company, through the tours that came in. So if we had a tour that lasted for, I would say a month or, weeks or something like that, we build relationships with them with the tour. So um that was really my life. And also I was in a union as well, and I used to bring a lot of, union people in. So production was my life. And so yes, production, church.
that's awesome.
um, and also I worked at churches as well. And what else? Yeah, when it comes to community, I don't even think about, you know,
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I get it. It
I mean, the community in DC is go go. I'm gonna go to the go go
Listen, I love DC. The food
or
there is
jazz
amazing.
or good old jazz,
Yeah.
Um, but I can honestly say that um, Playa is the first time I had real like community. I've never had a community like this, no matter where I live. Because I lived in New York, I lived in California, I lived
Wow.
in Atlanta. I was always a person to hop around. I was always get up and go. And I know my parents have probably like, "Oh, you're leaving us again." Oh, I grew up, with my parents, my brothers. I watched my parents actually. My mom was a radio announcer, DJ growing up, host. My mom was a
Wow.
host. My parents had an entertainment company. They used to bring in artists into the city. And My parents always kept us a part of, whatever they were doing since I was little. So I give it all up to my parents, that most definitely I looked up to them. They always had us working.
Yeah.
My mom, first management. Oh, you gonna manage your brothers and do this. Oh, you're gonna, they always kept us, and they were a part of the Grammys. They let us go to the awards with them. They had let us literally um, experience the real world, So
Wow.
it was so good to do that. And then I went to performing art schools, and that really developed me as a person. My teachers were my parents, were like my parents in high school. And everything that I learned, I started doing concerts and started my first production company. Well, I didn't start my own production company, but I worked with a production company in 10th grade.
Yeah.
So, and my first concert was Erica Badu. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
So, yes. So it was like literally after that, like 10th grade, I was
Just
I
went.
was serious.
Yeah.
I was one of those, I was very serious about business, and serious about, production and so I'm still the same. It's just I just more implemented of building my own because as you if you know, the production business is not so much us, is really a white a man industry.
It's
It's a
dominated.
white
Yeah.
man's industry. Yes, it's dominated of white men. And so for me, I'm just like, dang, like they keep they could keep putting me up. They most definitely, raise me up like to different levels, but it's just like they control that.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I
true.
can't go nowhere after that. It's just
Yeah.
like,
You hit that ceiling.
okay, yeah, because that's their company.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So now here in Playa, I'm literally able to
Yeah.
develop my own and build from there. And I honestly see High Vibes as $1 million company that we're going to grow, and we're going to grow, and it's going to be a global.
Yeah.
It is a global company, and Playa is just a foundation,
It's like the home
but I
base.
also can take it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
We need high vibes in Merida. In it's like we need
Hey,
that because I was doing a whole bunch of live streams when I was in Merida, and I would get comments
uh-huh.
over and over again like, hey, do they have Afro beats out there? Do they have hip hop out there? And I would have to sadly tell them like, no, there's no scene like that out there in Merida. There's a whole bunch of black expats, but
Yeah,
they're
there's a community out
yeah,
there,
there
I
is a
believe.
big community out
Yes,
there, but there's
yes.
just nothing like how what you guys have in Playa out in Merida. I'm like, they need that out in
A
Merida.
few Merida people they used to hit me up, and literally they'll drive to a High Vibes event.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we got a couple more chats here. Kimberly Cleveland, is that one of your relatives?
Yes. Hey, sis.
She says, "This is such a
That's my
great
sis.
interview. Go sis." Okay, okay.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
another London boy for life. Love hearing other people moving outside of their comfort zone. And he says, again, I always say to people, there's a big world out there to explore. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
facts, man.
And also there is a big world out there to explore, but also realizing that it's not easy.
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
You're sacrificing. I started out with my own money. like
Oh,
everything you're
wow.
sacrificing,
So you
you
put your
know?
own
And
money
so
into high
this high
vibes.
vibes has been my sacrifice to
That's
build,
crazy.
And so like even like with the equipment and everything that I bring, like those are things like I sacrifice with my, and I know that with building a company is okay, sacrifice, and I'm not looking for,
Yeah.
I mean, anything now, but I know that it's going to grow to something really, really big, So it, I've had ups, downs. Let me tell you something. It hasn't been easy, but
Yeah.
I push, and I believe that Playa del Carmen has so many people. It's just like a whole bunch of givers that came and moved out here and just connected. I was just talking to one of my homegirls today, and I said, literally, Playa is filled with givers. And the thing is, is givers that gave so much wherever they were,
Yeah.
and then they came out here, and now we're all giving to each other, you know, and we're all not used to, because I surely wasn't used to people giving to me. I was like, oh, no, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to receive. And I think that's one of the important lessons that, even like that God has brought unto me is you need to be able to receive, you know and I've been receiving from people I don't even know. Like, I'm like, hold on, you just
Hmm.
met me, why would you do this for me? And it's just amazing,
Yeah.
and I just said, okay, the amount that I pour out is just being open to receive the blessings that are coming in. And I just need, and it's a lot of things that come my way. I had sabotages. I had, different
Whoa.
things that had come my way to try to stop me from doing what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I keep pushing, and
Yeah.
I focus on what God has for me, and I focus on just the plan of, and when I stay focused and I stay also prayed up. And I'm a little like, I'm a loner out here. Like, I know a lot of people,
Yeah.
but I stick to myself, and I stick to myself for a reason. And that's so I can gain clarity, and because I deal with so many different energies, and that's one thing, having at a party, like coming to an event, it's not for me just coming to event with people. You have a lot of different energies. So therefore, you got to be equipped with that. And you have to make sure you set the atmosphere before somebody else set the atmosphere,
Yeah.
and they could change the whole thing. So you set the atmosphere first. So I set the atmosphere for high vibes. And once the atmosphere is set, then everybody would, you know, they know the atmosphere is love, of togetherness, of connection. And we set that atmosphere, and that's what people are going to do.
Yeah. And that's honestly like your energy, like your vibe. When I met you, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be somebody special. Even though I didn't know about like high vibes at all at that time, I was like, man, she's gonna be super special. And I'm like, I gotta get her like a sit down talk to like just to get to know who she is, because the reason that people, I think, that like go out of their way to give and support high vibes in its totality is because of you. You may not be like
Mm,
on the front page of High Vibes Global, but people know you, and people
yeah,
support you as your personal brand, and they'll support your professional brand as well. And it just comes from you. Simply that.
yeah.
Simply that. Um, I did want to ask one last question. I know you're pretty
Okay.
busy. I don't want to hold you up all
Oh
day.
no, yeah, you're actually good.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
actually good. Yep,
You let me know, but
yep.
I want
Saturday.
to know
Yeah.
about your visa status. So about, people really ask me about how to get their visas or get their residency in Mexico. Do you have
Mhm.
your permanent residency, or do you have a temporary
So,
residency, or are you making
so
like the trips back and forth?
yeah. So basically, it's always good to everybody. I always tell people to get your residency.
Okay.
Um, to get your residency. Um, For me, I'm a little special because I have connects. Okay, uh, when you have friends and connects that's connected to the immigration, then they do things for you that you don't have to keep going
Okay.
back and forth.
Okay.
So but I suggest that everyone get their residency. Also, open up a bank account in another country
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are, like
Mm-hmm.
open up a bank account. I have a Mexican bank account. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get residency and open up a bank account because this allows you to get a lot of the discounts that you want and yeah, and to help you because sometimes if you're just still, on your visa, with your visa, you could stay out here for 180 days.
Right.
But if you still on your visa and you talking about, I live here, I live here, technically, it's just like you don't. I mean, it's just like, okay, you want a visa,
Yeah, it's a
like
perpetual tourist.
so. It's not those rules. You know what I'm saying? Like it just gets a little shaky when you're going back and forth for a discount and you only got a visa.
Yeah, yeah. That I totally get that, and I have
It's
my
just
I have
like and this is you not just and this is why you have to build relationships because when you build relationships you don't even have to say that.
yeah, that's true.
You don't even have to say that. They're going to automatically give you the discount. They call me a Blaxican. They call me a Mexican. They said, Cece, you a Mexican. They said, you know more people than that. I have the Mexicans, like a lot of my Mexican friends, they'll come to me and ask me about stuff in Playa. I'm like,
That's crazy. That's
oh,
crazy.
Cece, yes, yes. So I'm like, wow, like, but that's just because I meet people, so many people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just try to stay friendly because, one, you never know, what what people are going through or, so I kind of like push all of my feelings when I come out the house. I always say, soon as I come out the house, I need to make sure that even I don't care if I'm down or whatever, I gotta make sure that doesn't affect anybody else because one, I'm like
Yeah.
I'm the example that's leading out, right? So if I have a issue or a problem or then I'm gonna handle it at home.
Mm.
I'm gonna handle my business at home. And but other than that, when I come out the house, hey, hi, people like, oh, how are you? Hi, Cece, how are you this uppity like during the day? Well, one, because coffee, I'm a coffee girl.
Yeah.
And if I don't have coffee, I might be a little quiet. I'm either gonna be smiling up or whatever, or just totally quiet. Like,
Okay.
because yeah. So
Now, coffee is a secret to life, though,
but
like low key.
thank you for coffee that allowed me to, be energetically,
Yeah. Do you miss anything from the states, like food? And
yeah, okay, so uh I do miss a lot of the food, but it's poison. But I'm okay. So from DC, I miss the crab legs. I miss crab leg. I miss the seafood. I miss making crab cakes and Maryland crab cakes, crab bombs. I miss cooking. Like,
yeah.
you know, I miss cooking for my family. Like I always cook for my family. Um, I'm the only girl. I have all brothers. I'm the only girl. Then I have um my uh my sister in love and my parents. And I'm the one that is normally getting the events together for the family, making
Yeah.
sure things are going and also planning and also making sure I cook for my family. I just do that. That's one of my things. I love to cook like Sunday dinners and spend
Wow.
family time. So I most definitely miss family time. I miss my niece, my nephews. Um, I think that was the hardest thing for me from me moving
Mm-hmm.
is like
The
my niece
family.
and nephews. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but family and some food, yeah, food. when it comes to seafood. Crab meats, yeah, crab. That's pretty much the only thing. And music. I would say is very big on music.
That's true.
So live music, and that's what I'm trying to bring to Playa. Um, is that good old live music. I miss a
Yes.
band that can play every genre. You know, like because the thing is, DC, we have bands that are like instead of having a DJ, you would bring in a band,
Mm.
you know, and that band would basically bands are famous in DC. Like they play all of the songs and might do a little remix, a go-go remix or something like that. But we're so big on bands and that's what I miss.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you like adapting, or have you adapted to life out there yet, or are you still
Yeah.
kind of like learning like nuances about being in Playa or being in Mexico as a whole right now?
I most definitely adapted.
Okay. Okay.
um
Because I know that even the weather's different out there too.
Yeah, but I've always moved because of the weather. Like I moved soon as I graduated from high school, I went to Cali and moved
Wow.
because I wanted to be in the heat yearly.
Whew. Yeah, I mean, the heat is
Wow.
a little different for
Yeah,
sure.
but the heat it does hit a little different. But we do have the winter that is beautiful. And also travel, being able to travel. One thing I love about Mexico is and Playa is that Playa is in the area to where you could drive or go to different parts of Mexico because Mexico is huge.
Yeah, people don't know that.
People don't understand
Yeah.
that Mexico has states.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, "Oh, that happened in Mexico," that's like something happened in somebody's neighborhood, local neighborhood.
Right. I get the same thing
And
too. With my mom was like, "Oh, be safe down there." I heard about somebody getting kidnapped. I'm like, "Ma, that was in a border town, like 1,000 miles
that was
away."
like yes, that was on the other side, like 18 hours, 25 hours away. So that's so when you look at Mexico, it's like the states. It's
Yeah.
like looking at it like the states, you know? And and so many people coming to they just made Playa the tourist zone. Like they want to network with more international, make it more international, even when it comes to events on a larger scale. And so yeah, Playa is now like they're going to be the tourist spot for the Riviera Maya, and so that's going to be big.
Wow.
That's going to be big. This is what I was telling people when they want to invest now
Speak on that. Yeah.
because it's about to blow. Well, it's already blowing. So, but the thing is, I've noticed that a lot of Canadians, more white, well, it's white Canadians, you know,
Yeah.
they're pretty much selling everything that's back at home, selling everything and coming out here and buying up everything. So they're able to buy because they
Mm.
just sold everything, buying here and now they got apartment buildings, they're constructing buildings, they're they have so much land and so now it's being kind of like gentrified because the rent is higher.
That's true.
They're going
Yeah.
to set the rent to be higher, and so people like, oh, why is it so high, why is this is becoming higher, and I'm like, because look who's changing,
The
look what we
landscape.
got.
Yeah.
There's basically a Starbucks now, almost different.
That's true. They're building another one
It's
now.
literally
Yeah.
looking like I always call it my like where I used to live in DC. Um, it's called Columbia Heights. So it looks kind of like Fifth Avenue a bit,
Yeah.
and it's a real Latin area, Latin and Mexican area. And so they're selling fruit and everything. So this reminds me of literally Columbia Heights.
Okay.
So it feels it's just home. Like I don't feel like I'm honestly in another country sometimes. I know it's different people, but I could get this at home. Like it feels the same.
Can foreigners like buy land out there, like buy?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes, so
yeah,
it works different because Mexico is cash out, is cash. When it comes to mortgages, and they don't just don't get no mortgage, not out here.
okay,
They just started doing more financing. With the property developers just started doing more financing, and then they do have certain banks that also do financing, but um they don't have not every property has financing.
okay.
You could get financing on your own in the states, but as you know, it's just because they want you to buy it and it's yours. Because the thing is, once you buy it, it goes into for all the foreigners, it goes into a trust. And
Oh,
so your property goes into the bank, it goes into a trust, and that trust is protecting your property from anybody. America can't take it. Even if America gave a loan, they still can't take your property.
oh, I didn't know that. Okay, and how much money is like the median or average price out there that you would recommend people to just come down there and they can buy with, like maybe like a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom?
I would honestly say start off with 200,000.
Okay, so 200K.
200,000, yes. And the thing is, I would start off with property that investment property.
Hmm.
So if you get, let's say they have studios, you know that a lot of people that travel here are going to stay in a studio
Right.
apartment. Yes. So I mean, those are easy studios. And I will also say like 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms for family, family style condos are best.
Okay. Okay. See, yeah,
Mhm.
that's the info that people
And
always
that's
ask
it.
me.
Now, if you want to live,
Yeah.
then across the highway, and across the highway is way cheaper.
Okay. And for the people that may
Yes.
not know
Well,
like across what across the highway is,
Oh,
can you
so
explain
okay,
it?
so
Yeah.
yes, so you have Central, and Central is like the downtown area of, let's say, the little downtown area of wherever you're from. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They always have like a downtown area. So Central is the downtown area, and then is literally across they have a bridge. They have a bridge. So there's across the bridge, and then they have across the highway. So Playa is really big. Playa is really, really big. And so, but if you live across the bridge, which is cheaper, or across the highway, then you're paying a lot less than being in
Hmm.
Central. And you're paying for bigger because it's more space. You could get a house, like literally for the apartment that I have a month, I could go across the highway and know that I can get a 2, 3 bedroom to rent for that same amount.
Okay. Okay.
But I like convenience. I like to walk out and go across the street and a fruiteria is right there, or walk right there and something's happening. Like I like, for me being a single woman, I like to, and I don't have a car. So if I had a car, I'll move across the highway.
Okay.
But because I don't have a car, and for me being a single woman, I want to live around where I know my people, I know my neighbors. Hello, I know my Mexican neighbors. I know the people around me, and I'm easy access to call and say, "Look, I need your help. Can you help me out?" Or, just that. I just think about that,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's the best part of kind of like being in that area. You don't even need a car.
Yeah.
You have everything that's accessible right near where you are. You don't have to have a car note, worry about
Yeah.
insurance, putting gas in
Yeah.
the
But
car.
I want a car.
Yeah.
I do want to eventually have a car
Yeah,
just to get around.
and I
But,
mean, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
but yeah, so it's just a convenience, you
Yeah.
know? and I'm a city girl. I was raised in the city. So, I like convenience most definitely.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We are about to start wrapping up here with Cece. If y'all have any
Yes.
last minute questions, y'all need to know about real estate, how to build a business out there, shoot them in the chat. We got the
Yeah.
chats
And
going right now.
also,
Go ahead.
I do also have cctheplug.com
Ooh,
that, yes.
let me put that in the
So
chat.
you can go on cctheplug.com. If
Cece.
there's a form out I have a real estate form out on there. I have, if you need me for anything, you can reach out to me on there. And then anything that you need as far as high vibes, we have a concierge. I have an amazing concierge team. I have my business partner, Sebastian. And I'm so excited. My team is just excited to work with how we working together. They believe in the vision. Um, like and that's how we elevate even when we don't get along. I won't say don't get along, but we know how to agree to disagree. We know how to hear each other out, and we know how to try new things. And that's how, and we know how to take risks.
Yeah,
And we
calculated
take
risks.
risks, and that's the only time, like I always say, let's just try it once. If it don't work, then we'll try something else, you know and that's the only way we're going to grow.
Yeah, that's the honestly that's the only way that
And I
businesses
say,
are
as
going to
long
grow.
as, yes, and as long as we have integrity and we do everything off of integrity. And if it's not, even with the people that I'm associated with, if it's not, then I can't. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
For you, with you, I need integrity. Everybody.
Yeah, and a lot of people lack
That's what.
integrity. A lot of people lack that integrity
Yeah,
nowadays, man. It's,
yeah,
it's, it's really
yeah.
insane because people not only are that when they promise to do something for you, they just don't do it, or they give
Mhm.
you an excuse to not to do it for you. And it's crazy to me. Like
Yeah,
if you make a promise to somebody, keep that promise, keep your word, and
yeah.
have that integrity for that person because you never know how much that person is dependent upon what you need to do and what
Exactly.
you promised them to do. So.
Exactly. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yep.
Okay, okay. I appreciate that, CC. All right, guys. We any last minute questions? We got man, your parents are blowing the chat up.
Oh, oh.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. You got any last words for the audience, CC? Any words of encouragement? Closing thoughts?
Um, uh, well, what I can say is, if you haven't already, then you should come to Playa del Carmen. And if you come to Playa del Carmen, then you should reach out to me at High Vibes Global, and High Vibes with a Z,
Yep.
global.com. You can reach us also on Instagram at High Vibes Global. Also with me, Cece the Plug on Instagram, Cece the Plug also on TikTok. I do have a TikTok. And I think that's about it. Come, vacation, enjoy. I would like to meet you. And yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
about it. Thank you guys for even listening, and you know, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. I
Thank you, Jay,
appreciate it.
for
No,
bringing
it's
me
been a
on.
pleasure.
I really appreciate this. Yeah,
Yeah, and
most
it's
definitely.
it's definitely a miracle that we even got time with her today, guys. So definitely take this entire live stream and just go support the events. I have the QR code
Yeah.
here for the High Vibes events, and you guys go follow all the socials. I have them linked in the description box below. And make sure you go out and support. And this is honestly one of the best people to know in Playa del Carmen if you want to be plugged into the city, the pulse of the city. So, Cece, thank you so much again. And everybody watching, we really do appreciate the support. And we'll definitely see you
Yes.
next time. And
And spread the word.
yeah, spread the word, guys. This is the premier event business in Playa del Carmen. You will have fun, guaranteed. I promise you. I've
Yeah.
been to every single time I go to Playa, I make it a point to go to Audley's line dancing, and then I'll
Yes.
support the
Yes.
High Vibes events as well, guys. So I
Yes.
appreciate you guys
Yes.
tuning in, and just want to just do a little outro for myself, and then
Okay.
we'll be out. But my name is Jay, guys. The YouTube channel is called Trippin with Jay, and we mainly focus on live streams about travel, about travel topics. We do IRL streams when I do travel, and we interview fine people like Cece right over here. So if that's the
Thank
type of
you.
content that you like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you won't be disappointed, guys. We're 20,000 strong on the subscriber count, and we're going to keep growing more and more. So
Yes.
that's going to be it for today from us, guys. And make sure you go follow and support Cece, because I guarantee you she is going to blow up in the future, guys. So that's going to be it for today. And thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Peace, guys.